Hey guys, welcome back to another video on the Inside Spurs channel. Happy Sunday morning. Hope you enjoyed the weekend and the week's been alright for you. It's been a bit miserable, it's a bit cold, it's a bit all those things. But you know what? We've got game day, so that always warms me up and gets me excited. So yeah, we've got game day, Manchester United Spurs today. So we'll talk a little bit about the game. There was some weird injury news that came out. I kind of want to just sort of dispel a bit of it and give you my take on it. But also we've got updates on Spurs', I wouldn't call it renewed interest, but heated up interest, we'll call it, in Kalvin Phillips. We do then also have update around the Conor Gallagher search and Sergio Reguilón, potentially to Brentford. Plenty to get into, plenty to talk about, as always. Just want to say, if you're new, subscribe. You're very much welcome to join us for the journey. And let's jump in. Let's talk Man United first, okay? So, look, Man United are... When we look at Man United compared to Spurs, a bit more of a toxic situation right now. You know, they have the whole flux of ownership that Ratcliffe's coming in, but he's not here yet, but he sort of is here. You know, they don't like the Glazers, obviously. They've got situation with players that have just gone out on loan and they don't like them, but they've just gone out and done something on loan more than what their £85 million winger has done. Ooh, I don't know what winger, I don't know why I just said that. But when we look at it, they're a team that, if you give them something to get up about in regards to the pitch, they can hurt you, and they can hurt you big time. You know, yes, they've had situations where they've not done well this season, you know, and that's fine. And I think that's fair to say, like, you know, they're a team that are very hot and cold. I think that's the way I'll probably sum it up. They're hot and cold. But when they get hot, it's quite difficult to cool them down. You know, yes, you look at the situation this season, they are a all or nothing kind of team. They win or they lose, really. You know, they played 20 games, they've won 10, they've lost 9, they've drawn 1. So they're sitting in 9th. They're sitting one place above Newcastle. They're actually sitting now behind Chelsea on goal difference. So they're not having a great season. You know, they're out of the Champions League. Fine. But what happens to a wounded animal? They can strike back. They can still strike back because they know they have to. So yeah, right now they're sitting 8 points behind us. You know, if we beat Man United today, they're sitting 11 points behind us. That's really big. When you think about that top 5 race, you know, if we win today, people say we're going to third. We can go joint third, but we're most likely not going to be third because of goal difference. We need a swing of at least, we need a swing of 3, so it's unlikely to happen, right? But, you know, when we look at this rest of the situation, you know, you win today, you'd end up going, 8 points clear of 6th. That little buffer is beautiful. 8 points clear, because then behind that, you've got Brighton, Chelsea and Manchester United all on 31 points. So you'd be now sitting at 42 points, 11 points clear of those teams. And this is, by the way, the most impressive thing when you think the fact we've not had our main centre-back pairing in over 2 months. Mickey van der Ven, Christian Romero. We've had fullbacks playing at centre-back. We've had youngsters having to come in and play decent enough minutes. You know, we've had injuries across the park. We've had suspensions. We've barely had a midfield at times. And we're 1 point behind Arsenal in 4th. And we're 6 points behind Liverpool, who are top. So it does make you think, when you do get a Van der Ven back, you do get a Romero back, you do get your Maddison, your Sarr, your Basuma, you know, your Son, you do get a Dragusin up to speed, you get a Werner up to speed, and you start to look at it and go, hang on a second, that's a decent looking squad, that. So yeah, I mean, look, let me talk about this injury news, because everyone was saying Kulusevski's out injured. Supposedly he was unwell. That was the situation. Supposedly he was unwell, but he was fine yesterday. So I expect him to be playing the 10 role today. You'll have Johnson out on the right. I do think you see Werner out on the left, and I do see Richarlison doing centre. So all I'm going to say is left wing, right wing, lots of speed today. A lot of speed. And you can get at Man United with speed. Shaw can be had with speed. Dalot can be had with speed. And also, when you look at Werner, okay, yes, he maybe hasn't scored a bag of goals, but he still has a striker's awareness of where to be at the right place at the right time. And with that speed and that amount of opportunities that we can create for him, he will get goals. Excuse me. Now, Mickey van der Ven, he will probably start today because obviously he was on the bench for the Burnley game, which happened, 9 days ago. So look, he will be on the bench. I think he'll be starting today. Okay, he looks pretty healthy. He looks pretty with it, you could say. When we look at the other centre-half position, I know that Ange is the best for mind games. I love Ange. He goes, Romero, it's probably too soon for him to play. He only joined in training on Friday. Romero's in Manchester with the squad. I'm not saying he's going to start, but he is going to be in the squad, I think. And I think you'll see Jagruzen in the squad as well. So I think you're going to be sitting with 2 centre-halves starting. Because it makes me think, why on earth... But this is no dig at Emerson, because I think he's done really well at centre-half for all things considered. But why on earth would you have 3 centre-halves sitting on the bench and a right-back playing at centre-half? You know what I mean? I think that's fair. There's no dig at Emerson. You know? It's like Emerson and Porro being fit and us going, yeah, we'll probably put Jagruzen at right back, Romero and Van der Ven at the centre back, yeah? You'd be going, we've got right backs, why don't you play the right backs? That's my kind of vibe on it, right? Now, in terms of Man United don't have a ton of injury issues, if I'm honest, because they got a big chunk of players back. I think Shaw was one, Casemiro's one, Maguire's one, Martinez is another, but I don't think Martinez will start because I think it's a bit too soon to start for him, if you know what I mean. He's been out, I think, 3 or 4 months. He's been out most of the season. So I think they'll probably will... I think their team, if I had to guess, it would be Onana in goal, because obviously this is his last game before he goes off to the African Cup of Nations. It's already started. That's a weird one. Dalot at right back. I think your centre-halves will be Varane, Evans and Shaw at left back, because I think Evans is actually, for a guy who's come in on a free, by the way, and a lot of stigma. He played for Leicester. They went down last season. He's old. He's not quick. He might have been their best defender this year. So I don't think you're going to drop him for that, if you know what I mean. When you look into the midfield, I think Kobe Mainoo will play. By the way, a lot of Spurs fans are giving Kobe Mainoo a stick. I actually think he's an alright player. I do. For his age, to play the way he has in a team that can be a bit toxic, I think he's done really well. I think you'll see Bruno in there. Will they go Eriksen or will they go McTominay or Casemiro? I don't know. A part of me thinks you have to go Eriksen because you need to be able to get on the ball to get yourself out of our press. But does he try and go, look, they're going to try and pin us back. They're going to be knocking it around. Let's go, a bit more physicality. If I'm Ten Hag, I'll go Eriksen personally. But hey. And then your front three, I think, will be Rashford, Garnacho and Højlund. I think it's quite an easy team to kind of predict, actually. You might drop Evans, but I think you'd be foolish to drop Evans. I don't know if Wan-Bissaka's fit. Maybe Wan-Bissaka plays at right back. But again, it's that thing is, you need to be able to play out from the press, So, hey, we'll see. Let's talk some transfers. Oh, sorry, my prediction. 2-1 Spurs. Let's talk some transfers anyway. Let's start with the Kalvin Phillips one. I know I've got Mr. Conor Gallagher up on here, but actually it's part of the same article, but the header of it is Kalvin Phillips. And it said that Tottenham eyed Kalvin Phillips loan deal with a £6 million fee. Now, my thoughts and feelings about this is, and I'm not going to give you all of it because I want to tie it in with Gallagher in a second. My thoughts and feelings this is low risk, high reward. Hear me out. Kalvin Phillips in his last proper season where he didn't have injuries and things like that was a fantastic midfielder in the Premier League. He was absolutely fantastic and he was well deserving of a move that season. I think he got it the season after to Manchester City, but he was deserving of that season. I think Liverpool were quite keen on him that season. He can knock it around. He's good enough with the ball. He's not poor on the ball. Physical enough. Homegrown, which is always a thing that it doesn't. If you have players, let's have a think. If you have players like a Conor Gallagher, right, that we kind of see a bit more as a player that suits the system, and at Chelsea this works. If you have Conor Gallagher, right, he's homegrown, and he's a good player of the squad. It frees you up different areas to put in non-homegrown players, So that helps with Kalvin Phillips as well. I don't see it being cheap, though. I see his wages being high. I'd see Manchester City wanting a buy option in the summer or an obligation to buy. And I love the deal that we did for Timo Werner. It's that if it doesn't work out, fine. That's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. If it does work out, though, we've got a player there for 15 million. which in today's market is pennies, even though 15 million is a lot of money. With Kalvin Phillips, I think they're going to want, loan deal. Man City might pay some of his wages. It might go 50-50 where, you'd have to pay 100 grand, right? He's probably on about 150, 200 grand a week, I reckon. So maybe you're paying 100 grand a week of it, right? I've got a feeling that they'll go, look, we want 5 million, 6 million pounds for the loan. And then we want a buy option of 30 million in the summer. And that, for me, I don't want to take that risk. Now, if it's a buy option, okay, he comes in, he absolutely tears up the joint, and you go, whoa, this is the Kalvin Phillips everyone expected at Man City. Okay, let's have him. And 30 million, okay, it's nothing. And if he does well, and you think, I like him, but I don't like him for 30 million, can we get a bit cheaper? Then we do a deal like we did with Kulusevski, where we didn't pay Juventus the full amount. We said, look, we love him. You don't really want him. You want the money. We're not going to pay 35 million euros. We want to get a few million knocked off. And we did. But let me speak up about Conor Gallagher and see why this connects really well for me. And it was from the same article. It said that Tottenham are also working on a deal to sign Chelsea star Conor Gallagher and have held talks over what would be a permanent deal. Now, Conor Gallagher, Kalvin Phillips in, Skippy, Højbjerg out. Because look, we know Skip's interested at Palace. He's got interest in Palace, right? Højbjerg, we know, has interest abroad. I think if you did those deals, and bear in mind, I know Juve are interested in Jordan Henderson. I know that. You still have interest in Italy. You still have Napoli. You still have Roma, I've got a feeling that if we were to get both, I think it'd be a hell of a... Look, Skip and Højbjerg to Phillips and Gallagher is an upgrade, right? It definitely is. I think money-wise, you might look at it and go, I think we can do a better upgrade for the money that we might spend. And that I totally get. And I totally understand it. But if you just took it on face value, those two, it is an upgrade. And it makes our midfield room so much stronger. And to be honest, it gives you a little bit more depth, you know what I mean? Because Skip and Højbjerg are near enough the same player. If you have these two are two different players, one's a 6 and one's an 8, you actually have better depth as well, which is nice. And don't forget, this is a system that we just shed injuries. We love it. I get injured watching the game. That's how many injuries we get. So we do need players that are able to play in different positions, not just the same position over and over like Skip and Højbjerg. So yeah, no, definitely should be those two. Look, yes, but are Spurs going to want to spend that kind of money after spending the money they spent on Dragusin? I can't see it personally, but that's why they would need to... I think you would need to sell Skip or Højbjerg this month for it to be worth it. I don't think you're going to get 2 loan deals and then bring those 2 in. It's not going to work the books, And let's finish up with some Sergio Reguilón news. Obviously, look, Reguilón obviously was at Man United, who we play today. Reguilón obviously back to Spurs. Obviously, the loan deal was cancelled. And Romano put out actually this morning, said that Brentford want Sergio Reguilón on loan, deal from Tottenham. Negotiations already took place, but final decision will be up to the player. There are more clubs interested and Reguilón will assess the situation. In any case, he's expected to leave the club in January. That last bit's not shocking. I don't think anyone's truly surprised by that. Brentford is a great move for him. It is. They play some good football, play some attacking football. They're a competent team in the Premier League. They're not a team that, they get absolutely obliterated by teams. They're a team that seems to be always in the games. And also with Ivan Toney coming back, if you can whip good balls into Ivan Toney, 3, 4, 5 assists easily to him, he's a good man in the air. Has other clubs as well. Hopefully we just get a resolution. And hopefully it works for Reguilón. I think as us fans, sometimes we kind of go, get out. Just go to Brentford. This is their career at the end of the day. This is their job. I think they're probably more entitled to have a couple more days to think about things. But also, do you know what? This news here would spark other teams to kind of go, look, if we want him, we've got to move now. So I think we have a resolution soon to this situation. But anyway, guys, at the end of the video, hope you enjoyed. Drop a like on the video if you did. Hit me in the comment section below. Your thoughts, opinions about the games. Keen to know what you think about the games. And obviously, do you think Van der Ven and Romero are back together at centre-half? Or do you think Dragusin's getting in there? Obviously, you got the Phillips, Gallagher and Reguilón situation. Want to know your thoughts and feelings about 3 as well. Subscribe to the channel if you're new and hit the bell notification for more. But anyway, guys, to the end of the video, I'll see you all very, very soon. Take care, guys.